T. Have you ever heard a laugh so powerful it could shake a building? No. Well, let me introduce you to Leo, a kid whose giggle wasn't just loud, it was legendary. Welcome to the town of Quiverton, a place where things were usually quite well quivery, not because of earthquakes, but because of Leo's laugh. Leo was a pretty normal kid in every way but one. He loved jokes, funny faces, and slipping on imaginary banana peels. But when he laughed, it wasn't just a ha-ha or a hee-hee, it was a full-body, window-rattling, earth-shaking roar of pure joy. His laugh was a local phenomenon. When Leo found something funny, the whole town knew it. Jars would rattle on shelves, paintings would tilt on walls, and the weather vane on top of the town hall would spin like a top. The folks in Quiverton were mostly used to it. Old Mr. Gable, the baker, would say, sounds like Leo's watching cartoons again, as his flour bags puffed out little white clouds. Miss Petunia, who ran the flower shop, would quickly steady her vases whenever she heard the telltale rumble begin. They called them Leoquakes. They weren't dangerous, just jiggly. One sunny Tuesday morning, Leo was sitting in his backyard, reading his favorite comic book, Captain Chuckle and the Tickle Monster. He got to a page where the Tickle Monster accidentally tickled himself and started bouncing around the city like a giant fluffy pinball. Leo couldn't hold it in. A small snicker escaped, shaking a nearby rosebush. Then came a giggle, which made the garden gnome wobble. And then it happened. A full-blown gut-busting, earthquaking laugh erupted from him. Biwa aga ah. Across town, things went bonkers day. At the annual Quiverton Bake-Off, Mayor Mildew was just about to taste a magnificent three-tiered cake. As Leo's laugh hit, the entire marquee tent wobbled. The cake jiggled, it wiggled, and then it leaned like the Tower of Pisa, before collapsing into a creamy, sugary heap right on the mayor's head. He emerged, covered in frosting and sprinkles, looking like a very surprised cupcake. Meanwhile, at the local library, the librarian, Miss Shushbatam, who prided herself on the absolute silence of her domain, was reshelving books. When the Leoquake struck, a copy of Great Expectations flew off the top shelf and landed perfectly open on her head, like a very literary hat. You was just a kid enjoying a good laugh. But some people in town were starting to get a little tired of the constant shaking. A no laughing loudly sign was quietly suggested at a town meeting, but everyone knew it was impossible to enforce. How do you tell a kid not to be happy? The real trouble started one afternoon. A notorious cat burglar, known only as the Shadow, had come to Quiverton. He had heard about the priceless golden scone of Quiverton, an ancient artifact kept on display in the town museum. It was said to be the first scone ever baked by the town's founder, and it was hard as a rock. The Shadow, slick and silent, slipped into the museum after hours. He bypassed the lasers, tiptoed past the guards, and stood before the golden scone. He reached out his gloved hand. This was it. The prize would be his. At that very moment, across town, Leo was watching a TV show with his family. The show's host slipped on a giant rubber chicken, flew through the air in slow motion, and landed headfirst in a vat of pudding. It was the single funniest thing Leo had ever seen in his entire life. He took a deep breath, his chest puffed out, and he let out the biggest, loudest, most ground-shaking laugh of his entire life, too. It was a laugh of epic proportions. A true masterpiece of mirth. BWA-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha- building shook from its foundations. The display case holding the golden scone rattled violently. The glass didn't break, but the latch popped open. The shadow grinned. "Too easy," he hissed, but the laugh wasn't done. The second wave of giggles hit. The pedestal under the scone vibrated so hard that the golden scone, which had sat motionless for 200 years, began to roll. It rolled off its velvet cushion, dropped onto the floor, and started rolling across the polished marble. The shadow, surprised, tried to grab it, but it was moving surprisingly fast. It rolled out of the exhibit hall, down a corridor, and aimed directly for a suit of armor. The scone hit the knight's metal foot with a loud asterisk clang. Asterisk, the suit of armor, already wobbling from the lathquake, teetered for a second, and then fell forward, its arms outstretched, right onto the shadow. He was trapped, pinned to the floor by a medieval knight. At the same time, Leo's laugh caused the museum's alarm system to The lights flashed, the sirens blared, and the security doors slammed shut, trapping the shadow inside. When the police arrived, they found a very confused cat burglar pinned under a suit of armor, with a very hard scone lying next to him. The next day, Leo was hailed as a hero. The mayor, still finding sprinkles in his hair, gave him a medal. It wasn't the Medal of Quiet Contemplation, but a brand new one, the Order of the Heroic Laugh. From that day on, nobody in Quiverton ever complained about Leo's laugh again. They realized that sometimes the loudest, most disruptive things can also be the most wonderful. A powerful laugh, they learned, could do more than just shake the walls. It could save the day. And so, Leo kept laughing, and the town of Quiverton kept on quivering, but now, they quivered with pride. And every now and then, when a painting tilted or a vase wobbled, the townsfolk would just smile and say, "Sounds like Leo's happy. What a wonderful story, right?" It just goes to show that something unique about you, even something that seems like a problem, can turn out to be your greatest strength. Never be afraid to be yourself, and never, ever be afraid to laugh out loud. Thanks so much for hanging out and listening to this tale, McCone. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story. We'd love to have you back. Until next time, keep smiling.